Stress is the silent killer. Stress is the silent killer. If we don't understand how to properly manage and mitigate stress, it's going to unfortunately cause us harm. There are multiple stressors in life, right? We have relationship scenarios, financial things, we have health things, we have, desires and goals, we have things not necessarily always aligning to our desired wishes. And all these things have the capacity to cause stress, right? But the question is, how do you deal with that stress? How do you manage that stress? Do you have proper and effective outlets to cope with the things that are coming at you, throughout life? Because life's going to throw curveballs at you, right? There's nothing you can do to avoid challenges. It's not always what happens, is how you respond to it, right? And also, what frameworks do you have in place to guard yourself from the things that are coming your way? That's preparation. What do they say? When you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So I saw this post not long ago, and it was talking about how 110 years ago, Booker T. Washington passed away at the age of 59. And they talked about him passing away at his home in Tuskegee. And my wife is a Tuskegee alum, and we recently just went on a college tour with our daughter down there. So it's really cool. You can see Booker T. Washington's house and all of that. But one of the things in the post, it talks about his intense travel schedule and his political pressures that hung over him, and that caused Booker T. Washington to live with a high level of stress, chronic stress, for years. And he also had blood pressure issues. Now, we must admit, this was also, over 100 years ago. So we don't always have the proper recollection or proper recognition of things that we need to mitigate and manage. But the reality is, one of the greatest thinkers of our time, or one of the greatest innovators in history, Booker T. Washington, struggled with chronic stress. And the chronic stress, because of all the pressures that were on him, potentially added or aided in his health, declining, and ultimately led to his passing. And so, again, there may have been some underlying health concerns that he had as well, but it spoke to me because a lot of us strive to be in prominent positions. A lot of us strive to be in the spotlight, to have the wealth, to have the notoriety. But are you prepared to deal with all that comes from that? If you've talked to anyone who's in the spotlight and you really just kind of dive into what's really going on in them, a lot of times what you'll hear, and what a lot of times what's been communicated to me, is like, listen, I have to find ways to get away. I have to find ways to decompress, because my time is being pulled at by multiple people all the time in all different directions. And so it's like, it's a constant level of stress that they're under. And so there is a benefit to being in the spotlight. You might get the resources, the money, the accolades, etc., but there's also a cost associated with said benefit. And looking at this clip, or looking at this post that highlighted, the end of the life of Booker T. Washington, it just made me really think about stress management, stress mitigation. Do you have the tools in place to manage what it is you say you desire, right? If you say you want to be him, if you say you want the spotlight, if you say you want to be the starter, do you have everything inside of you are you prepared to handle everything that comes along with that? Because there are trade-offs, right? Everything in life, there's a trade-off. And are you prepared to deal with that trade-off? Are you prepared to deal with what comes on the back end of that thing that you desire? But again, this is just a reminder. This is no knock on Booker T. Washington. He passed away, I believe it was in 1915, if I'm not mistaken, something like that. And so the reality is, dude, there were a lot of things that were not discovered at the time. I don't believe penicillin was even available to the public at the time of his death, right? So when you think about it, there's been a whole lot of growth and development and technology and healthcare and wellness. But when we start looking at it, these are things that we can learn from. Again, you use history to learn from, but you also use history as an opportunity to, build as you move forward. Because a lot of things that are happening now, what do they say? There's nothing new under the sun. It's been done before. You may not have been exposed to it, but it's been done before. And that's the good stuff and the not so good stuff. So for that person out there who is looking to rise, who's looking to elevate, who's looking to move up and become quote unquote him, right? Move into prominence. Make sure that you're also prepared to handle all the downstream effects of that elevation. Okay. Because you want your elevation to be a blessing, but you got to put the things in place so that as you elevate, you can properly handle it so that it can be the blessing that it's designed to be. All right. Well, hey, I hope this has been something that's been informative. Y'all go out and be the quarterback of your mindset. Don't pawn that thing off to somebody else. You take control of that because you've been blessed with everything necessary to go and do that. Y'all be blessed, well, and wise. Have an amazing day, and I'll holler at you. Peace.